Real quick guys, before we jump into this video, I want to sincerely thank every single one of you guys for getting this channel to 50,000 subscribers. I wish I had some big 50K celebration planned, but due to some unfortunate circumstances, which out of respect for everybody involved, I'm not going to discuss, obviously that's not happening, but I still want to be able to give back to you guys because you guys are the lifeblood of this channel. So, we're going to be doing another big Work For It Apparel giveaway. All you have to do is go to the Work For It Apparel website in the next 48 hours after this video is posted and purchase either a Work For It hat or a Work For It shirt, and yes, the new Work For It pre-order shirts are included in this giveaway. I am going to be taking all of your orders, placing them in the room, boxes open, toss a ton of cash up in the air, and whatever lands in your box is yours to keep. But I'm going to be taking it a step further this time. I'm also going to be giving away to one of the orders a speed pull flagpole setup. That is a pull with the billet mounts and an American flag as well included. So all you have to do is go to workforapparel.com, place the order. Thank you guys for getting us to 50K. Let's roll to this video. Oh, it's gonna be tight. Keep going. It's alright, it's just your antenna. You don't need it. What's up guys? Welcome to another episode. We just showed up to Chris's house over here. As you can tell by his sweet ass GMC. We're gonna go poke in, see what he's up to. Hello? You're taking a shit?
Yeah.
Well, you're live, bro.
Hi, YouTube.
There you go. Apparently Chris is taking a shit. We'll get with him in a second. Can I let the puppies in? I'll take that as a yes because I didn't hear you. Oh, what's up, all the puppies? So many puppies. What's up? I know, you nasty breath. My God, puppies. And then there's a Chris. How's your shit?
It was good, man. It was good.
That's good. So I think it's time we tackle a topic that's been it's been brought up a lot. I get asked it all the time. People always ask me, you know, what size lift should I lift my truck? Or I'm thinking about going this. Is this a good size? I think me and Chris got the best of both worlds. He's got a 6-inch lift. I have a 12-inch lift. And I think we'll dedicate this video to kind of telling you the pros and cons of each size. And then hopefully that'll help you guys determine what size lift you should go with. So I think we should start with Chris's truck, being that it's probably something that more people are going to consider. You guys can see his 2016 GMC here with a 6-inch BDS lift kit on it. You know, being that this is the newer GMCs and they're running coilovers on the newer ones versus I think the older ones did not run coilovers, right? The 1500s?
I don't know.
I'm just gonna assume they didn't because I don't think they did. But so kind of take that into consideration because something he's gonna talk about, I'm assuming, is gonna be ride quality, and coilovers definitely make a difference. So Chris, how would you say your ride quality of the truck is, being that you lifted it 6 inches?
Surprisingly, it's very smooth. I mean, it's a lifted truck, so you're gonna have the bounce every once in a while, but it's pretty smooth.
So I have yet to be able to attest to the ride quality of Chris's truck because I haven't driven it yet lifted, but it's probably gonna happen soon. Anyways, so now you jump up over into the 12-inch world, and do not expect a smooth ride in this. There's ways you can do it. You can 4-link the entire truck. You can throw the entire truck on airbags. You can do a solid axle swap with a coilover conversion. And each one of those things will improve the ride quality over the setup I have. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's a 12-inch lifted truck on 40-inch tires. There's a lot of weight, there's a lot of mass moving around, and it's stiff. I mean, it's got to be stiff to compensate for the weight of everything. So, personally, to me, I don't mind a bumpy ride. Now, another thing to consider when considering what size lift you want to run is you got to consider what size tire you want to run. So Chris wanted 35-inch tires, so he was kind of looking for the, I guess, smallest lift kit he could get away with and still clear 35s, right?
Yes.
So I obviously wanted 40s, and you know, 12 inches kind of where you have to be, at least on the Chevys. I know on the Fords you can do a little bit lower of a lift kit because they actually have round wheel wells. Thanks, Chevy. Take that into consideration. What size tires do you want to run? You obviously, I mean, don't want to run a 12-inch lift and run like 33s, which I know a lot of people do, or not 33s, but something similar that just they look like 33s and it looks ridiculous. Chris has a good tire to lift ratio. I feel like I have a good tire to lift ratio. I think we should pull these two trucks up next to each other, kind of give you guys a better idea. Because Chris is running the same Toyo MT that I'm running. He's running the, he's got 35, 12.5, 18s. I have the 40, 15.5, and 22s. So exact same tire, but obviously different sizes. So we'll see when they pull up next to each other. You guys will kind of get a difference of, you know, it's all relative. So on Chris's truck, 35s look like a good, decent sized tire until you pull them up next to a 40 and then they look small. There's your height difference on the 35s versus 40s. Now, that being said, you're gonna say, well, you know, you don't wanna go too big of a tire because you're gonna run into rubbing issues and all that. Well, we both rub.
Yep.
Wait, that sounded gay. Hold on. Our tires rub on both of our trucks independently without touching each other. That works. All right. So yeah, both of our tires rub. His 35s rub, but I mean, we're not talking like, you know, hit a speed bump rub. At least I know on mine, and I'm pretty sure his is the same. I have to be turned all the way to the left, backing up and hit like a little dip or something, and then it'll just catch just a little bit. Probably one of the more important things people are gonna consider when obviously choosing number one, the truck, but the lift kit as well, is budget. Now, not everybody has the same kind of budget, or not everybody wants to spend that kind of money on a vehicle. I mean, obviously vehicles depreciate, you know, so you kind of got to be willing to figure out where you're comfortable and, you know, what you can afford or what you want to spend. Now, obviously there's a lot of money in that truck. Not to say that this one doesn't have a lot in it either, but there's a little bit more substantial, I guess, lift kit cost, installation cost, all that stuff. Chris went with a high-end kit. He's got the BDS kit, so he put some money into it as well. But you kind of got to play with your you know, your finances a little bit and see what you're comfortable affording. And obviously, don't go take out a second mortgage on your house to lift a truck, because that's not the smartest thing in the world to do. Now, when factoring in budget, factor in a quality lift kit. Just because you can get a 12-inch lift from Billy Bob on the corner for $1,000 doesn't always mean that's the route you should go. You know, I consider both of these lift kits to be on the high-end spectrum of lift kits. He's got the BDS kit. BDS makes really good quality stuff. You want to be careful when you buy a lift kit. Obviously, things can go wrong. You know, you don't want a tire to go flying off or something weird to happen. You know, this is kind of your life in your hands right here. So I would never put a cheap quality lift kit on my truck. So I know there's a lot of cheap kits out there, and I mean, I know a lot of people buy them. They're obviously super popular, but just kind of keep in mind, you've got your life kind of on the line of that lift kit. So I mean, it's just really something to consider. You know, if you're driving yourself, you got your life on the line. If you have your family or your kids in the car or in the truck, you really want to have something quality underneath the vehicle. We'll wait till a helicopter passes. Fuck it, we're just gonna go with the helicopter in the background. So one thing you definitely want to consider, obviously we've talked about the quality of the lift kit, because safety is really important. You're gonna have to consider, the taller you go, the wider you want to go with your tire and wheel setup. And I'm not talking about spacers. I don't like spacers. I don't believe in spacers. Spacers are a sketchy way to get a wider track width on your truck. In my mind, the proper way is to get the proper offset of wheel. So as you guys can see, the offset is pretty much the spacing of the wheel in relation to the entire width of it, or I guess the relation of the hub, whatever you want to call it. So Chris's is obviously, you know, closer to the front, which is more of a positive offset, or at least more positive offset than mine, and that gives him a decent track width on the truck. Now obviously I'm going taller, so I want to be wider, so I went with a wider wheel, a wider tire, and then the offset of my wheel, don't mind how dirty they are, as you guys can see, the hub is pushed way back in the wheel, pushing it, the actual, I guess, rim or wheel out further from the hub versus where it would be. Now, I'm sure the same way, you want to buy a quality wheel and tire, you know, make sure, number one, you can afford the wheel and tire setup prior to lifting. You know, if you do something like this, you can maybe get away with running stock for a little bit until you can save up some more money. But when you go this size, you got to be able to, you know, make sure you have saved up enough money to do everything all at once. There's no lifting it and then later coming back and putting on bigger tires. It's just going to, number one, look ridiculous, but it's not going to be that safe. This may or may not matter to you, but towing, you know, what kind of truck you have, what kind of lift kit you have is kind of all going to determine what kind of towing capacity you're either going to have or you're going to lose. Now, obviously, being that my truck's diesel, as long as I'm using a bumper pole, anything, it really doesn't matter. This thing towed my toy hauler, no problem, and I know you guys don't believe I've ever towed with the truck, so here's a picture right here of the truck actually towing, because I have towed with that truck many a times. You know, the only thing I'm kind of eliminating myself from is really a fifth wheel. Like, obviously, I'm too tall for a fifth wheel, so I will never be able to tow a fifth wheel with my setup. I could do a gooseneck if we had a custom neck built for the gooseneck. Now, Chris's truck, he's kind of right in line with the ideal height, really. I mean, obviously, he's going to lose maybe a little bit of power from his 35, so towing's not going to be as fun going up the grade or something, but he didn't really eliminate towing capacity per se. Another thing to consider when considering the height of your truck is kind of the convenience factor. Depending on the height, you are either gonna fit in drive-throughs or parking garages or all that, or you're pretty much gonna X your way out of ever fitting into that kind of stuff, especially like garages. Chris's truck, I think you'll still fit in this garage, won't you?
No, I don't think so.
I think we need to try.
I don't have the keys in the car.
You can fucking squeeze past this car. We'll hit it at an angle.
Okay.
Let's do it. All right, well, I guess we're gonna see if Chris fits in this garage. So, I'm not sure how he fits in parking garages, but obviously with a 12-inch lift, I'm no longer gonna fit into any parking garages.
You fit in one.
Oh, okay. Chris just told me there is one parking garage I fit in, and I'm pretty sure it has like 16-foot ceiling, so that is actually like the one parking garage I fit into. Obviously, I don't fit in the garage at my house. You know, drive-throughs become weird. You kind of have to test the waters depending on the way the turns are in the drive-through or the overall height you may or may not fit. I know of one drive-through that I am 100% confident in fitting in. Oh, it's gonna be tight. Keep going. It's all right. It's just your antenna. You don't need it. Oh, I think you're clear, bro. Wait, you don't trust me?
No.
Yeah, bro, you're gonna clear.
Oh, dude, no way.
Yeah, you're gonna clear. There it is. Woo, that's close. Well, so there you guys go. So with the 6-inch lift, you'll still fit into a standard garage door. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? You can park your thing in the garage now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, to some people, fitting in a garage may or may not be a big deal. You know, my last truck was a 1500 HD Chevy with an 8-inch lift on 37. So I come from always driving big lifted trucks and just never being able to fit into garages and all that. So it's really not a big deal to me. I've been used to it for many years. But you know, if fitting into a garage or fitting into parking garages is a big thing for you, you know, whenever we go downtown to a baseball game or out to eat or something, it's a little bit of a mission to find a parking spot for my truck, because you know they pretty much fill downtown with parking garages, some of which are like shit, dude, like 6-foot ceiling heights if you're lucky. It's crazy the amount of parking they'll cram into just like random basements. It's pretty sketchy.
Some stock trucks can't even fit in there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Now Chris brought up a good point, and something else that I really didn't think of to cover is the ease of getting into the truck. You know, obviously if you're getting up there in age, or if you're missing a leg or short, getting in and out of the truck's kind of going to be something you might want to take into consideration. We're fairly tall. Obviously this giant makes me look small, but I'm 6 foot. He's 6'2.5".
Yeah, I think I went up 6'3". I think I'm.
He was 6'3", but he dropped down to 6'2.5", and now he's apparently somehow back to 6'3". All right,
say 6'3".
We'll say 6'3". So I'm 6 foot. He's 6'3". Getting in and out of a truck is not a big deal to us. But you know, obviously he doesn't have any steps. I have the Amp Research steps that kind of, you know, come out when you open the door. And the reason I put that was for, you know, the ladies need a little help getting into the truck. And, you know, sometimes that's appropriate, sometimes it's not. So Chris, that's all he's got. He's got that method, right, bro?
He's got the method.
Let's see how easy Chris gets in the truck, and then I'll show you how I can get in the truck without the steps. I won't use the steps. That way we get a little fair shake at things. So let me get over here. So you can see for Chris, it's literally just like a little scooch in, which kind of seems ideal at that height. You know, I tried to sit in like the newer Corvettes, and it feels like you're sitting on the ground, and getting in is a pain, and getting out's even harder. So getting out of these trucks, you know, being at Chris's height, is kind of, you know, you just slide right off the seat and you're standing up. Kind of the benefit of a lifted truck. So if getting out of like a low car is hard for you, you might want to consider getting something a little bit taller. Now for mine, you know, I went on my old truck, 8-inch lift with 37. I went for a while without ever having steps on it because I never liked the look of steps, and at that time, Amp Research steps were still a new concept. So I'm used to hopping in and out, and sometimes, you know, if I have my tire fully turned to the left, the Amp Research step hits it. So there's actually plenty of times I'm jumping in and out of this thing without ever having the steps out. Show you guys how I get in. Let me keep the step from coming down. So if you guys don't know, the Amp Research steps have a built-in kind of little sensor in them, so if they bump something, it'll stop. Same with going up, so if you ever want to leave your steps down while you're washing your truck or something, open the door, let them come all the way down, close the door, and just keep your hand on it. It'll keep the step down, that way you can climb around on it and do whatever. So it does require, you know, pulling these shorts up a little bit so you don't rip nothing, but it's kind of easy, you know. I know grabbing the steering wheel is not the greatest thing for the truck in the world, but I had my other truck for 10 years and I grabbed the steering wheel all the time and I never once had an issue. No slop, no nothing weird happened. So, I mean, it's really not that big a deal to jump in and out of this thing. You expect it, but out is, I mean, it's just a little hop. If you got bad knees, it's gonna suck, but if you got decent knees, you know, it's not a big deal. I mean, with the step, this is plenty, you know, the steps I think are probably level with Chris's truck. It's plenty for me. So still just hop up on the step, hop in, you're good to go. Breeze, and then here's how you keep them down. If you guys don't want them to go up, just keep pressure on them. Once it tries to go up, the sensor will stop it. And if you guys ever plan on actually putting anything in the bed of your truck, as we do from time to time, load height, dude. All right, guys, hold on. So you guys know I had the swing case in here, right? And the bracket got bent to shit on the actual like box itself. And then it just, like, these little nubs that it sits on, one just snapped, and then I come out one day and the whole thing just fucking fell over. So swing case, please beef your shit up because that's embarrassing. So this is obviously my loading height, which as you guys can see is about a little below booby height on me. I kind of dig it for unloading. You know, I enjoy actually having something already kind of elevated for me to pick up versus bending down and picking something up. Now, swinging something up into here is not the easiest thing in the world. You guys have seen me do it with my tires. Just takes a little more oomph to get it up, but you guys can get it up. Now, Chris is, so obviously way lower. I mean, it's probably the cleanest bed liner you're ever gonna see, so I don't think there's really been much of anything in here. Has there?
Truck parts.
There you go. So I think the one time it had stuff in it was when he had to haul all the shit back that he took off after getting it lifted. It's actually a decent height. Now that being said, one time I can see where this would like hinder you is when you're loading up a dirt bike or something, because you're either gonna need a really long ramp or your ramp's gonna be really steep. But back in the day when we were, you know, back into dirt bike riding and racing and all that, we kind of, as long as there was more than two of us, we really never used ramps on. We were always just throw the front of the dirt bike up and then pick it up from the back while the one guy's up front. So, I mean, you know, if you're by yourself, obviously you want to use a ramp, and, you know, being real steep is going to get a little sketchy, but it can be done. And I know a lot of guys are going to say, well, you know, what's the point of lifting it that tall if you don't get that much more ground clearance? How are you going to go mudding?
True.
How are you going to beat your truck to shit?
True.
How are you going to jump it? Anyways, all the guys that say that, I feel like I've never owned nice things or don't know what it's like to own nice things, but these trucks were not built to get beat to shit. They're not built to take in the mud, scratch up the paint, you know, trail running and, you know, lay it on its side trying to climb up some shit, doing some fucking rock climbing. You know, we like nice stuff. We like to take care of our stuff. We wash our stuff regularly, if not weekly. I mean, they're both dirty right now and it's kind of bugging both of us. And you know what? If you want to beat the shit out of your truck, beat the shit out of your truck. If you want your truck to stay nice and pretty and you want to take it to shows, or you want to just keep your shit nice because you enjoy nice things, ain't nothing wrong with that. And hopefully this addressed a lot of your guys' concerns or questions. I know I didn't hit on everything, so if you guys have anything else that I haven't hit on or considered, or you think I said wrong, feel free to leave it down in the comments. That way we can maybe help somebody else out. I know the truck community is super small and super tight, and people for the most part are pretty much willing to help out each other. So definitely ask a question in the comments if you got it. If I can't answer it, somebody else will. And with that, guys, we're going to wrap up this video. I want to thank everybody who has subscribed, liked, followed my Instagram, all that stuff. You guys are awesome. If you have not subscribed, please click the subscribe button now. Give Chris a follow on his Instagram at cbailey619. If you get 1 million subscribers, I'll let this guy cut my hair. That's sketchy. Sketchy. I'm going to end up with like half a scalp. Anyways. Oh. What?
Can I have it? Have you cut it?
Yeah. He needs my hair. I'm growing it out to give to him. Don't worry. The day I do cut it, it's getting donated, guys. So, thanks, guys. With that, I'm out. Chris, what did we say?
Roll the outro.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.